we should not get complacent. I think there are real reasons to be concerned if you're the type of person who cares about using Bitcoin as money. Bitcoin and Nostr too, right? There is the rising tide effect, which is you contribute to an open protocol, you win.
Yeah.
But your contribution improves the protocol, so everyone else wins.
Everybody wins.
It's a positive sum game. Don't be a tugboat. Be a lighthouse. Just live the best life you can on a Bitcoin standard. The genius, I think the killer feature of Nostr is, the Nostr identity is at the protocol layer.
Correct.
There's something magical that's about to happen at that intersection point. Bitcoin payments, permissionless AI, and then of course the social layer beneath with Nostr. Outside of Bitcoin and Nostr, the communities, no one has a clue what's happening. We are living so far ahead in the future.
Welcome back, guys, to another Your Bitcoin Story podcast with your host, Gigi. BTC Prague is officially over, but the events are still going. Today we're here with Avi at BTC Payday, which we were proudly representing. And I wanted to grab you, Avi, since we actually met first time in real life a few days ago. And based on my experience, I wanted to hear your take. The BTC Prague this year was really focused on bringing back the cypherpunk ethos, building open source. It's not about numbers go up, it's about freeing ourselves from the chains of the old world. Other conferences like focusing on treasury, Bitcoin, and corporate adoption. But to me personally, it was very cypherpunky feeling and a different perspective to the general topic of Bitcoin on Bitcoin Twitter. How was it for you, Avi?
I might take a slightly different view.
Okay.
Now, in general, I would agree with you that BTC Prague is probably the most cypherpunk, certainly of the large conferences, the most cypherpunk out there. And I've been here for all three of the editions, so this is my third time here. Love it here, love the content, love the folks, love the organizers. It's just such a nice vibe here. I think this year, yes, there was some cypherpunk content. You had a lot of people talking about using Bitcoin as money, which I think is really important to me. Like,
Correct.
The canonical, and I dare say the only use case.
The main use case.
The main use case we should be focused on. But I did see, there were some suit coiners.
There was.
And there was some NGU and treasury and lending talk, which makes me nervous. So I would say a mixed bag. It was less cypherpunky in my mind than last year and the year before.
Okay.
But still a great experience.
So if we zoom out now from BTC Prague and just generally what cypherpunk movement is doing with the self-custody setups, with, of course, with BTC Pay that we heard earlier today with the Bolt swaps and Aqua, Bull Bitcoin, like they're really bringing the power back to the end user as it should be.
Yeah.
Are you optimistic on this kind of self-sovereign route of Bitcoin going, or do you feel like we're getting hijacked so fast that we could end up in this custodial Bitcoin world?
No, I think we should not get complacent. I think there are real reasons to be concerned if you're the type of person who cares about using Bitcoin as money, right? As the peer-to-peer electronic cash without a trusted third party. We have people who are actively telling, influential people actively telling their audience that self-custody is not that important, that privacy is not that important. So it is concerning, and I think the Bitcoiners who care about this should remain vigilant and continue preaching the message, teaching, educating the public on I dare say, the correct way of using Bitcoin.
Yeah. I couldn't agree more. We actually touched upon this point with Paul Rosenberg.
Yes.
I told them, I feel like a lot of Bitcoiners think we're winning. Some even think we already won, and I'm like, no, the fight is only beginning. Like, stay vigilant, stay focused, do the things that you should do because it's a long route. And I don't know what you heard from the Sailor talk yesterday in the VIP. I didn't hear, but the feedback was that he on stage said that we already won. Bitcoin, government's on our side. We won. Now what do we do next? That's a dangerous place to be in because we have not won. And anybody thinking that we've won, you should re-question of what winning is. And maybe in the US things are different, but in Europe it's very surveillance state and it's getting worse and worse. And Bitcoin truly is your tech to freedom, not tech to riches. With the number go up, of course, you can afford more things, but it's having the freedom to live the life that you want on your own terms, which is the most powerful thing. And I feel like that's what most people miss. They think Bitcoin is just something, I enter here, I exit there.
Yeah.
But there is no exit in Bitcoin once you understand it.
Right. And I think people need to feel the pain. I'm talking about the regular folks. Like I dare say, Gigi, you, I, and others here were somewhat ideologically driven about this. Maybe not necessarily economically rational at all times. Right?
I would agree.
Yeah. But for the regular public, people who are not as ideologically driven as us, who have day-to-day concerns to deal with, their families, their things going on, they have jobs, and just they need to figure out how to keep the lights on. And it's hard for them to think about these, largely theoretical concepts. For them, certainly, academic and theoretical concepts about privacy and sovereignty and what have you. I think for them, for many of them, unfortunately, they'll have to feel the pain first before looking for an alternative. Now, there could be a small percentage of them who are attracted to this movement, not through pain necessarily, but by seeing what an amazing life we all live. And I don't mean that, I'm not saying we're all rolling in money, we're not, but we have hope.
Yeah.
And in these dark times, there's war, there's so much, especially X. There's so much negativity and doom on X, and Nostr is a little different, but certainly X and other Facebook and all these other social media.
Super unhealthy.
It's incredibly unhealthy, and there is so much negativity out there. And then they suddenly, if they do see Bitcoiners, especially at a conference like this, there's so much love, there's so much hope, so much happiness and aspiration. A few of them might look over the wall and say, "Hey, what are those guys doing?
Why are they so happy?
Why are they so? I want a piece of that. I want to have what she's having, or what he's having."
That's so true. I like to bring up this example, and I'll ask you this question, Avi. Have you ever met a depressed Bitcoiner?
Not many. Not many. Yeah.
They're hard to come by because,
Yes.
especially when you come to these gatherings, it's like, as you said, the hope, the collaborative spirit. That's why I preach open source. Open source invites everybody to come and collaborate and build, and you can fork things and develop it for your own use case, your own demographic, your own people.
I'll say one more thing on that note, on open protocols, Bitcoin and Nostr too, right? There is the rising tide effect, which is you contribute to an open protocol, you win.
Yeah.
But your contribution improves the protocol, so everyone else wins.
Everybody wins.
It's a positive sum game.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people miss that. I know those of us who are deep into it
because it's unnatural, Avi. In the old system, we have someone wins, someone loses. There's no win-win, or both parties lose.
Right.
But there's no win-win.
Right.
And that's why I think it's so hard for people. First, I think the first barrier for people is this scarcity aspect of the 21 million, because in the physical realm and in the digital realm, there's no scarcity, especially in digital, where it's copy-paste for infinity.
Sure.
So that's the barrier where they're like, there's a limit? What do you mean there's a limit? Hard to get by. And then as you said, with the win-win ideology, it's like, how can we all win? Must be a scam,
Right.
Like, where's the flaws in this?
Yes, that's right. Yeah. I think it is, the scarcity one is a good one, right? Because when people hear the term scarcity, their natural reaction is, oh, how can that be a good thing, right? How can having limits be a good thing?
How can we sustain on a limited unit?
On a limited unit, yeah. And then they start spinning out all the fallacies. Oh, but Bitcoin is not actually limited, right? It's divisible.
It's getting mined more every day.
Well, it's getting
which is true.
That is true.
But it's going to finish one day.
But the other one, the other hilarious one, I'm sure you've heard this many times, is it's divisible by 100 million, right? So, then you obviously give them the pizza slice analogy, but yeah, you hear some interesting pushback on it, and scarcity is a tough one to get your head around for sure.
To me personally, it took me 3 years, Avi, to break the scarcity aspect was the really one that separated Bitcoin from me and the whole shitcoinery casino,
Right.
Which is essentially just a new 2.0 fiat. They print out, pre-mine, whatever they don't want to do. And and people need to go through that journey, and it takes time, and you can't, orange pill term, as much as I like it, I don't really believe in it. I like to say it orange seeding, because it's not like you have this one orange pill and suddenly you're in this new world. it's the orange seed. You plant it, and you need to water that seed for the flower to grow out. Because if you just plant it and walk away and don't water it, the flower is not going to come out. So you constantly need to learn, study, experience.
Yeah.
So
Well, and I have on that note, I have another way of looking at it, which is, and I realized this within a year or two of trying to quote unquote orange pill, right? Is don't be a tugboat, be a lighthouse, right? Don't try and pull people
like that
into it.
analogy.
Just live the best life you can on a Bitcoin standard, embodying the world we really want to see, right? On Bitcoin. And then people, again, it's the same thing. Some people are going to look at you and say, hey, what's that guy doing?
Yeah.
I want that.
As you said, lead by example, not by words.
Right.
Because anybody can say good words.
Right, for
Especially with
sure.
today's LLMs, you can say beautiful words, but it's the actions that you do and people follow and are like, that guy actually is happy and things are working out. Like, what's his secret,
Right.
I like that. I like that idea. On the aspect of Nostr, which every year now Primal is coming out with bigger and bigger announcements. How has your experience from last year in the last 12 months? What differences? Let me reframe it. What differences do you see in Nostr from, let's say, 12 years ago, where we were 12 months ago when we were here in Prague,
Yeah.
in 2024, and today?
Well, the clients are a lot better. So, so there's Nostr's notes and other stuff. So let's talk about notes for a second, which is typically your Twitter clone
You're
type.
correct. Yeah.
I mean, the clients have gotten so much better for the Twitter-like clients, and Primal is we just saw
Smashing it.
Yeah, absolutely crushing it. I mean, it's the go-to onboarding kit for anyone. It's like within 5 minutes you get onboarded, and it's a beautiful user interface, beautiful user experience. They just rolled out Studio, and I think for creators it's going to be fantastic.
We had Miljan on, so 2 episodes back, it was Miljan on talking about it, how it gives the power to the creators
Right.
to have everything under their fingertips, see all the. I loved what they presented, how you'll even be able to see where people are reduplicating your stuff. So you
Right.
can see through the whole dashboard. It's incredible.
Yeah.
And you have the keys to that. It's your own sovereign data. It's not in a walled garden where one day you get an email, sorry, we're closing your account.
Yeah, well, that was the genius. One of the, I think, the killer feature of Nostr is, in traditional tech, user identity lives in the application layer, and
it's not yours.
It's not yours because it lives. There's a company running the application, and they can rug pull you whenever they feel like it. With Nostr, identity is at the protocol layer, and in theory, you can derive your npub and nsec on a piece of paper. It'll take a while doing the math, but of course there are machines that can do that for you.
Well, some future NIP will make that easier.
Yeah,
maybe.
sure. So that's on the notes side. We've seen some really excellent user experience improvements there. Then on the other stuff, we're seeing all sorts of new use cases come up, especially now at the intersection of Bitcoin, AI, and then just using this in a permissionless way. Recently, I think a month or two ago, Routester was released. And Routester is this way in which you can mint an eCash token,
Okay.
use that as an API key to access any, ChatGPT, you can access or open source models, you can access Claude, any of them. And this is incredible if you think about it. This is non-KYC compute. All you have to do is go to Routester, log in with Nostr, mint an eCash token, and paste it in the API field, where you would normally paste. So if you want, let's say you want to use one of the most advanced OpenAI models, but via API, not I don't mean through the app, right? And that, if you're using it via API, gives you a lot of flexibility. You would, to get access to the API portal for OpenAI, you have to go through full KYC.
Okay.
And I say full, I mean Coinbase level KYC. Where
Down to your underwear size.
Basically taking a video in your birthday suit, showing your passport, well, maybe not birthday suit, but a video of your face, your passport, all of that stuff. Now, I just mint an eCash token.
And connect it, boom.
Boom. So, and you're seeing all sorts of new stuff come up. There's this new tool called MK Stacks.
Okay.
Where you basically go to the command line and in natural language you type in, I want to build an app that does X, you name it, right? Movie ticket marketplace. it churns through, and within 10 or 15 minutes, you'll have to go a little bit of back and forth.
Yeah.
You'll have a fully functioning app with a really nice UI. You can log in with Nostr. It's a marketplace for buying movie tickets.
Yeah.
Yeah, so there's something magical that's about to happen in that at that intersection point. Bitcoin payments, permissionless AI, and then of course the social layer beneath with Nostr.
It's super bullish on the future from what you said, Avi. Just
Yeah.
to add, Francis earlier today on stage, he was talking about the power of vibe coding. He's no developer, but through his
Yeah.
vibe coding, he was showing this website they created in a matter of 1 hour. They created a whole landing page for a coconut salesman back in Costa Rica, and like back in the day, to get an app, if you had to get the developers, work on it for how many months, 6, 7
Yeah.
months.
Oh,
Was
yeah.
the work in is or not, how much money spent, and now
Yeah.
in like a matter of a few hours,
Yeah.
at your fingertips, and through this API integrations where you don't have to do the full KYC
Yeah.
and fully dox yourself. Wow, I mean, like
Yeah.
people are still scratching their heads, like, is this gonna work? It's like, man, like,
And here's
tools
the
are
thing.
here.
Outside of Bitcoin and Nostr, the communities, no one has a clue what's happening. We are living so far ahead in the future, and there's barely a few thousand people, maybe 10,000 people, who actually know what's going on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And following the scene. So I guess I'll ask you another question, Avi. Based on your 3 days experience here in BTC Prague, reconnecting with old friends,
Yeah.
meeting new people, what's maybe kind of your highlight takeaway from these last 3 days for you personally?
You know, I used to travel to a lot of Bitcoin
Yeah.
conferences. Then after a point, you do
You need
20.
to stop.
You need to stop. So I was at Prague last year, and then this is really my first meaningful conference in Prague of last year. And the absolute standout thing is these conferences tend to be like family reunions. You see people that you haven't seen in a while, that you connected with, you're at the same wavelength with, right?
Yeah.
The same hopeful, aspirational people who are doing things to make the world a better place. And just meeting them is just such a joy, reconnecting, and then making new friends. Like
Yeah,
we
correct.
met for the first time. I'm looking forward to, I don't know when the next conference is, and
Seeing each other again, yeah.
seeing each other again. It'll be like a family reunion.
Reunion, correct,
Yeah.
correct. No, I couldn't agree more. I said to Rafael earlier, the gems of these conferences is the connections that you make and
Yeah.
reconnections. And you can't get this online, so it's really worth it, doing the sacrifice, paying the bills, getting through
Right.
here. It's priceless, the experiences that you get. And if we don't have these experiences, we can't really collaborate and build this
Right.
new world. Like, you need the social interactions. At the end, as much as we've been distanced as humanity due to tech convenience, we are social creatures.
For sure.
This is where new ideas are born and the world is created. So, Avi, any other things on top of your mind that you want to cover? We can keep it simple. I know we've been we've been talking nonstop for the last 3-4 days.
I know.
So
We're all a little talked out at this point. I think our social batteries need a little bit of recharging. No, look, it's always remarkable just coming here, meeting people, making new friends, reconnecting with old friends, just seeing the hope and positivity. And there is so much to look forward to. There are so many builders here building amazing things on Bitcoin, on Nostr. Yes, we need to be vigilant. Like we started off on a somewhat cautionary note.
yeah.
There is stuff to watch out for, but I don't think we should let the darkness consume us, and rather look at the bright orange and the bright purple light and follow that.
I like it. I like it. And for those of you who haven't come across Avi before, definitely we need to do a shout out for Plebchain Radio, where if you're interested about Nostr, which Gigi's been talking about for a while, but some people, new listeners, are thinking, what is Nostr? Definitely check out Avi with his co-host QW with their Plebchain Radio. They talk a lot about focusing on Nostr as well as Bitcoin. Anywhere else we can send the listeners that want
Yeah.
to follow you, get in touch?
Couple of other things I'd say. I'm the author of the first long-form book of fiction
Correct.
On Bitcoin. It's called 24. I wrote that a year and a half ago, so you can check that out. Go to Amazon and type in Avi Burra 24, and you should be able to find it. I'm working on the sequel right now. And then one other thing, one of the more fun things I've been doing in Prague, apart from everything we talked about, is I'm filming the second episode of my travel show. It's a food culture and travel show with Bitcoiners. It's called Finding Home. The first episode, the pilot premiered at the Warsaw Film Fest.
Yeah.
It's not yet open to the public. I am, ironically, finding a home for the
Nice.
show.
Nice.
But yeah, watch out for Finding Home. Read my book 24, Pleb Chain Radio, and I also have an AI podcast. It's called The Acceleration.
Okay.
And
This is newly launched.
newly launched. Is about 5 or 6 episodes in.
Okay.
You can find it on Fountain, The Acceleration. But fun stuff.
Perfect. Avi, such a pleasure. Thank you.
Likewise,
Thank
Gigi.
you for being here. Thank you for the great experiences we had. Thank you for sharing your thoughts with the audience. Wishing you the best of luck. We look forward to having you back on the show, and for sure we will have you back on. And until then, guys, make sure to check out Avi, check out all the incredible work he's doing. Make sure to like, subscribe, and share so we can spread the signal. Stay sovereign, stay free, and stay optimistic. Till next one.